Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. I just want to quickly share an experience with you. And for this message I'm sending to you, I just want to title it God is in the work, not in the religion. God is in the work, He's not in the religion. And this is a story about me and my experience with my 5 puppies. And I'm sure a lot of you remember that I shared my experience about how my dog had like a litter of puppies, and I shared my experience about what the delivery was like and how that was a little bit traumatic for me because out of the 11 puppies she delivered, she lost 6 of them, but 5 of them survived. And today marks the 7th week of their birth. So it's 7 weeks today. So it's well over a month. We're approaching the second month, and I just want to give you some update about my life with the puppies, and I just hope that one of you can get where I'm driving at with this message I'm sending to you. And that's why I want to call it God is in the work, not in the religion. Now, having 5 puppies has been a learning experience for a massive learning experience for me. Um, the last um, 6 weeks and some days has been one of, for me, the most traumatic. And I love animals. I love having animals, but I've never ever had newly born animals in that number at once. And it's a totally different experience. And that's why, I used to think, oh, to be a vet, what you need to do is love animals. That's not true. You understand? It takes another entirely different ability, you understand, propensity to be a vet than to love animals. To love animals, you can be a pet owner, but to have a farm where you have so many animals, it's not about loving animals. You understand? It's totally different. You can love babies, but then to have a big family with 6 to 7 children is a different kettle of fish. It takes more than loving babies to be successful at that. You can love design as a career, but to manage 10 accounts from big clients takes more than loving design. As a matter of fact, you realize that people that love stuff, when they're inundated with what they love, you can begin to hate the stuff you love. You understand? So we must understand what goes, the resource that goes into anything we want to venture into is more than just loving. So catering is more than just loving to cook, because when you have to cook for over 1,000 people, it's more than loving to cook. It's about management. So the question you should ask yourself is, do you love to manage the catering of people? Do I love to manage a lot of animals than going to farming? You know, do you love to manage clients, a lot of clients, than try to own a design company? And that's why a lot of people try to run companies and establish companies because they love doing something. When in actual fact, it might be smarter to go and work for somebody that just brings you a client job part time. You understand? The person that loves to manage should be more entrepreneurial. But you see a lot of people go into entrepreneurship because they love an activity. And entrepreneurship is not really about activity, it's about the entity. So what I mean about the entity is about the people if you are dealing with people. It's about the animals if you are dealing with animals. You understand? So an entrepreneurial mind is the mind that loves to manage people, whether in terms of clients or workers. But then an expert mind is one that loves the doing of a job. And remember, an expert mind can be um, an employee, someone that just works in the place and you just bring the job to him and he does it. You understand? And now I see a lot of entrepreneurial people, a lot of people that are entrepreneurs today. The truth is that they're just entrepreneurs because they're experts at what they do. But you realize that they get stressed with business after a while because the gift they have is a love for the activity and not a love for the management of the people that receive from the activity or that process the activity. Um, and that's what I faced with the puppies. Um, it's a different kettle of fish managing animals. And five puppies. At a point, I was now thankful to God that the fact that these six didn't survive, because if they were 11, I might have had to run out of the house. You understand? It was really bad. And I found myself waking up at 5 o'clock, just waking up from the noise of them scratching on the door of where they were, and just squealing and making this barking, this sharp barks. For a long time, I thought dogs didn't know how to bark till they were like a few months. But obviously, they start barking very early, a few weeks, a few weeks, they started barking. And they have these very sharp barks that sound like chickens. You understand? Sound like chickens, and it can get very annoying. I can imagine what it was like for my neighbor, but it woke me up. You understand? Every single time, just a sharp bark, and I would have to come out and take care of my bigger dogs, and then get to taking care of them. You understand? Very impatient, just like babies. When they want to eat, they want to eat. So they would start crying, and I'll get to prepare their food and get them out and wash where they were. Now it gets to a place where their mother takes care of whatever they do, whether it's pooping or peeing, she'll take care of it and clean it up herself. That's what they do. You understand? Instincts will make her clean it up. But it gets to a particular age when they start to eat food different from the mother's breast milk that the mother now rejects eating. In fact, the mother doesn't even try sleeping with them in the same place anymore. So it's just you and them, and then you need to clean up every single litter. You understand? Every single litter, every single poop, clean up every single pee. And that's what I used to do every morning. And the activity used to take 1.5 hours to 2 hours, just feeding and cleaning. Because sometimes when they're puppies, they go and because they are so clumsy, they will go and step into their own mess, and you see them covered all in it. And I had to clean them up, wash them every day, every day, every other day, just to wash them up, just clean five of them at the same time, and they'll get to playing. And some, you finish washing them, they go back again and mess themselves up, and it used to take an hour to 2 hours of me just being outside the house doing this activity of managing these five puppies. And at the point, I had to recruit my daughter, to come out with me in the morning. I just help me just manage them, keep an eye on them, making sure that when I wash them, they're clean, making sure that they don't come back into the space where they were when I'm cleaning it up and stuff like that. And it used to be grueling work, very tiring. And I am someone that is so particular about what I do first thing in the morning. And when I mean first thing in the morning, I mean my first activity, my first major activity. A lot of times, most of the podcast I record, 90% of the podcast I record are recorded in the morning between the hours of 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And that always energizes me. That work of recording my podcast energizes me to go into every other work I do. And so for me, recording the podcast was always like a battery for me going to work. It was always first major work. But now when I had these puppies, I realized that 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I was most of the time just coming in from cleaning up the puppies, and then I was so drained. And this is what I learned, that when you do work you really don't enjoy doing, it drains you. But when you do work you enjoy doing, it energizes you. And from this experience, I've gotten to really empathize with people that wake up every single day to go to a work they don't love. I don't know how to do it, but I have a newfound empathy for them. I did this for about 6 weeks, close to 7 weeks. 7 weeks, I'll say 7 weeks. And it was grueling. It feels like 7 years. And I don't know how people who have been working jobs for 1 year, 2 years, that they absolutely hate going into. It destroys you. I realized that working a job you don't like is not just something that hurts you emotionally, yes, you physically. It hurts your relationship. Because this is me, a very optimistic, very encouraging type person. I lost all that for the past 6 weeks. All that was lost. I'll come into the house and I'll be angry, moody, snappy, not playful, just wants to rest, be away from the kids, be away from my wife, just sit down and just relax with my phone and watch something just to relax myself. Um, I wasn't having joy in any of the things I used to do, and I was away from doing my podcast, away from answering messages, listening to messages, advising people. I was drained, and I realized that I also wasn't praying or studying God's word. And that kind of disturbed me, you understand? But I just didn't have the energy anymore to do it after I was awake at 5 and getting the puppies ready and, doing all that activity and not sleeping well because my mind was always about on what they were doing. And I realized I'd lost contact with every single thing that made sense to me. I realized that it had become a chore. It had become a chore, and that was stressful. It had become a flat out burden, and it had become my life. You understand that those early mornings had become my life, and I just had a few hours more to relax before I went back to them in the afternoon again to feed them. Then I had a few more hours to relax before I went back to them at night to feed them and to get them to sleep. So it was taking up my day, and I became incredibly sad. For those of you that reach out to me, you realize that the past 6 weeks, those have been sending me messages and stuff and updating me about their progress. I've been one word or not getting back to you. It's not you, it has been me, and it has been my activity, and I was just losing myself. But the only thing that kept me in it was the fact that I thought of how much I was going to make after I sold them. So I always thought, okay, if I could sell each puppy for about 200 to 250, I will make at least 800K or over a million K or stuff like that, over a million naira. And that kept me. I was like, okay, then I'll have money for all the things I have to do. School is resuming. I'll have school fees and stuff like that. And it just became that became the motivation, the money. And that also made me empathize with people doing works they don't like. The money, that money is never enough to calm you down. It's never enough to soothe the pain. No matter how much I remember the money, it stayed in my mind for just a while before I remembered the pain. Every morning when I stayed with that water and the soap and the disinfectant washing the place, I used to think, Tola, is this what you should be doing with your life? You understand? Isn't your life worth more than this thing you are aiming to make? Is this what you should be doing in your life? And I didn't feel like that's what I should have been doing in my life. But then it was somebody needs to pay me. I need to get compensated for this hard work I'm doing. And that's the problem. You see, that's why man is so selfish today, because a lot of people are doing work they don't love. Man is charging exorbitantly because someone needs to compensate him for the work he doesn't love. And that's exactly how I felt when I was taking care of these puppies. I was like, somebody needs to compensate me at the end of this. So I held on more ruggedly to how much I was going to charge and how, I took that price to a price that I thought was high enough for me to be compensated. But deep inside, I knew it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to cover up for all those days lost, all the sadness, all the lack of sleep, all the snapping at the family, all the not being myself. It wasn't enough. 250K per puppy, 1 million, over 1 million naira wasn't going to cover it. I knew there wasn't enough money to cover up that pain of waking up every morning doing a job that not only did not fulfill me, but it made me sad. But the puppies were cute. Everybody that saw them, said I was doing a good job. They were incredibly cute, incredibly. And that's what I want to say. Sometimes you'll be doing a job that you don't like, but you are producing well, you are doing well. You understand? You are doing well. The result is good. Everybody's saying you are good, you are the best. Oh, they're even giving you awards, but it's killing you on the inside. It's not enough for you for things for the product of your work to look good. That is not what says you should be there. It is what you feel on your inside. People always came and told me your puppies look so wonderful. You are doing such a great work taking care of them. What are you feeding them? And they did look good. But the fact that I was doing it well doesn't mean I was doing it with joy, and doesn't mean I was feeling well doing it. The feeling. Look, it's better to do work that makes you feel good on the inside, but nobody validates you on the outside, than a job that everybody validates you on the outside, but that is killing you on the inside. A job that everybody connects with on the outside, but God doesn't connect with, is not a good job. But a God that every other person disconnects with, but you connect with God on it, you are the only one, is worth everything. And that when we read through the Bible, the story of Noah, while Noah was building his ark, the ark of God, building that ark, nobody in the world connected with him. Nobody. Even his family were only forced to be with him because they were his family. But nobody else. But God did, and that was enough. So it's not about people's validation. It's not about everybody understanding what you're doing. Everybody understood what I was doing with the puppies, but it wasn't worth my soul. An interesting thing is that when God says you are not going to make money from it, you are not going to make money from it. When God closes a door, he shuts it. Shuts it. You cannot open it. God doesn't close a door, he shuts a door. The difference between closing and shutting. Shuts it, shuts you out. So when I got into this trying to market the puppies, who didn't I talk to? What videos didn't I put up? But people did not bite. What Facebook group didn't I join? Abuja dog breeders of Abuja, Abuja dog pet owners, Abuja this, does everything about dogs. I joined and I put up photos, I put up pictures, I thought of good content to write to entice people. I'm a branding person. I know how to get people to bite. Do you understand? But then people weren't biting. Not one comment, not one like, not one follow up, not one lead, not one. I was totally shut out. I was stuck with these 5 puppies. But I pushed and pushed and pushed, and in the end, I got one person to buy. And but then I was stuck with the rest, and I was thinking, how am I going to get the others to go? How am I going to get the others out? You understand? How am I going to get them? I'm aiming for over 1 million. You understand? But one person bought, and I remember one of those days. Just a few days ago, I was talking with my friend from South Africa, and I was telling him how miserable I felt, and how how far from God I felt. And he told me, at the end of the conversation, he said, Tola, if these puppies are taking away your peace, then give them away. Give them away. The problem is they are trying to sell them, and that's why you're holding on to it. You're still trying to come out of this profitable. And that hit me. It hit me because it was not the first time I was hearing it. When the puppies were born initially, I have a friend, a young friend of mine who I talk to. His name is Fahid. And he told me, he gave me some advice, you understand, concerning the puppies. And because he had puppies, and I told him, have you ever had puppies? He said, yes. I said, what do you do with your puppies? He said, I gave one to this person, I gave one to my parents, I said, why are you giving them out? Why didn't you sell them? And he told me something that hit me hard. He said, because my religion stops me from selling them, teaches me not to sell dogs and cats. That was the first time I ever heard that Muslims or Islam like looks down or frowns on selling the sale of dogs and cats. And I kind of researched it and it was true. And this is where you can never be a wise person if all you focus on is your own faith and your own belief system, because there's value in most faith around. Not every single one of them, because some of them are cults, but most faith, there's value. You can get something from every other person's faith. So a Christian that only associates with Christian is shortchanging himself. It's never meant to be like that. You are meant to interact with everyone and learn from everyone. Learn. And you see, I learned this from my friend who was a Muslim. And for me, it was such incredible value, because I realized that, Christianity to a large extent has become so capitalistic. You understand? Sometimes it's hard to tell between a business school and a church nowadays. But when it says they don't sell, they give out. They give out these things. It grazed on my nerves a bit, on my conscience a bit. But then I pushed it away till this my friend from South Africa said the same thing. Deep inside, I knew was what I was meant to do. And he said something, says, you have, these things are seeds in your hands. They are seeds. They are not your food. They are seeds. But you are trying to eat the seeds. They are seeds. You are meant to put them away. Put them in the ground. And let them bring up the fruits. Then you eat the fruits. You are not meant to eat the seeds. You want to eat the seeds. Give them to people that would want them. People that will be happy, that have been looking for a dog, give to them. That was very hard to swallow, but I knew it was the truth. And immediately I told God. God that we have not been having conversation for weeks, but God is never far. I was telling one of my mentees, I was telling Mark the other day that he said he was feeling far from God. I said, that's just a feeling. God is never far from you. God is right next to you. Never far. You understand? Prayer doesn't bring God closer. Studying the word of God doesn't bring God closer. It just makes you aware that God has always been close. And that's what I told him, and I realized that too. So right that minute, I felt God close to me, and I knew I'd always been there, just watching me, and just saying, you will learn. You will learn. And I told God, help me. It's a hard decision, because I've done so much work, and I feel I need to be compensated. But lead me to those people that really need it. Those people that, when I give it to them, it will bring them nothing but absolute joy. And God already spoke to my heart and said, I've already led them to you. Somebody that told you, once your dog gave birth, someone told you his own dog had died. What did you do? You didn't answer him, because he said you're not going to give it free to anybody. There was another guy in your mentoring group that told you, oh, I would like to have one. I'm preparing my house for one. You told him 250K before he gets one. Now you need to give it to them. And I spent my time calling these people, and I said, do you still need the dog? And they were all still interested. And I started giving them out. And before you know it, I started contacting more people. And in one day, all the dogs were gone. Just yesterday, all my dogs, all my puppies, gone. It was emotional. But you see, this is what I'm going to tell you. Emotions are not enough. Convictions are more. Convictions, more. Let convictions lead you, not emotions. I feel it was a bit emotional. Wanted to hold on to one of them and just say, oh, my first litter, I should hold on to one of them as evidence. What are emotions? The fact that I felt some emotion doesn't mean I shouldn't have done what I did. I felt convinced to do what I did, and I let them go. And when I went the line of conviction, I had peace. And I slept yesterday like a baby. I slept well. But before I slept yesterday, something interesting happened. I had enough time in the evening to listen to all the voice notes that had been sent to me. Some by my mentees, some by people that just needed advice, and some that were giving me feedback. And as I listened to them, I started feeling God's presence again. When I got back to the work of advising and teaching and listening to people, there again was God. And I realized it wasn't about having time in the morning. It's not the time, it's not the religious time of every 6 o'clock I must go and read my Bible. No, that gets me closer to God. It's not that. It is the work. When you are doing the work that you are meant to be doing, the first person that greets you when you get to work is God. That's where God is. As I listened to the first message, at the end of the first message, I said, thank God. I was like, God, thank you. You're so good. Thank you for touching these people's lives. Thank you for using me to touch these people's lives. And then I listened to another one. And I was like, God, you're so good. These were things I've never said in weeks because I was so clouded in my mind by the work I hated to do. And because of that, God felt far. I couldn't see God. It was too cloudy to see God. But once I got over that cloud of what I didn't want to do, I started to see God in technicolor again. And then I started remembering the word of God. I started remembering. I didn't need to go and pick my Bible. It just started coming to my mind. I started meditating on it again. And I realized God is in the work. It's not in the religion. You can never have a relationship with God if you're doing work you don't love. It's not possible. Never. God is in the work you love, the work He has put in your heart by factory default for you to love doing. That's where you'll find Him the most. Not at church. It's not in prayer. It's not in vigils. It's at the work. It's at the work that something happens that blows your mind and you realize this has to be God. Thank you, God. I've let go of the puppies because I realize sometimes you just need to stop doing what doesn't fulfill you. I remember getting up yesterday morning and just thinking, it ends today. I'm giving out these puppies. I'm going to call and give them out. You see, the problem is I thought I could end what I didn't like to do profitably, profitably. But that was impossible. So some of you're still staying at a job you don't like because you feel I spent so many years. When I make so and so money, I'll leave because I need to live profitable. I need to live with profit for all this hard work. No, you just need to live. When you live, that's the beginning of your profit. Once I put away those puppies, I didn't make money, but I gained peace. I gained clarity. I gained back my recording and teaching and advising. I gained back a love, a patience, a being there with my family. Oh man, those things are more important than money. Do you understand? And that's what I thought to share with you guys today. That God is in the work. He's not in the religion. Woke up this morning, read the scripture, stuck in my mind, felt God's presence, went out and I could breathe and I could hear the birds and feel the wind, and life seems beautiful again. I didn't make over 1 million naira, but I made so much more. I gained myself. I gained my identity. Nothing is worth that. When you mortgage that, that is really what is called selling your soul. So today I want to beg you guys, whatever you do, don't sell your soul. I don't know who this is speaking to, but whatever you do, don't sell your soul. God is with you. He's there with you. You just need to get rid of that cloud of things you know you shouldn't be doing, and don't try to live with a profit. Just live. And that will be the beginning of profit.